Hello and welcome to the news for today, November 13, 2025. We're live on I'm Jamaica Goss radio station. This is Stephano Palmer. Good afternoon. The headlines are as follows. License and registration fees waived for fishers affected by Hurricane Melissa. Four alleged murderers killed in reported shootout with police in St. Catherine. In sports, dangerous times. McLaren weary of ever improving Trinidad and Tobago on the international scene. Trump signs funding bill ending a record 43-day government shutdown. Now the news in detail. The National Fisheries Authority (NFA) has announced a 6-month moratorium on license and registration fees for fishers severely impacted by Hurricane Melissa. It says this forms part of the NFA's and the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining's wider recovery efforts to support the sector in the Back to Sea Safety Action Plan. The fee waiver, effective immediately, applies to all registered fishers in the western and central parishes, which bore the brunt of the hurricane impact. The designated parishes are Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, and St. Anne. The NFA says the moratorium is designed to alleviate financial pressure on fishers and support the recovery of the local fishing industry. It covers both individual and vessel license fees as well as inspection fees for artisanal commercial fishing activity only. The waiver is a critical step in supporting our fishers during the challenging period of recovery, said Dr. Gavin Bellamy, Chief Executive Officer of the NFA. Hurricane Melissa has destroyed livelihoods and damaged critical assets. By suspending these fees, we aim to ease the financial burden on our fishers, allowing them to focus on repairing their vessels and gear and returning to the sea to provide for their families and our nation, Bellamy further explained. The NFA has encouraged all eligible fishers in the specified parishes to take advantage of the 6-month relief measure. 4 men are dead following an alleged gun battle with police in Rosemont District, St. Catherine, Wednesday night. Reports are that about 9:40 p.m., the men were involved in the murder of a man in Guys Hill District and were proceeding towards Linstead in a Kia motor car when they were intercepted by police. The vehicle carrying the men reportedly crashed in Rosemont, and the occupants alighted and started firing at the police. The police allegedly took evasive action and returned the fire. When the shooting subsided, 4 men were seen suffering from gunshot injuries, while 1 man allegedly escaped. The police say 2 illegal guns were seized from the men. The injured men were taken to the Linstead Hospital, where they were pronounced dead. The Independent Commission of Investigations has launched a probe into the matter. In sports, before the Reggae Boys beat Trinidad and Tobago 2-0 in the National Stadium on September 10, the teams had avoided each other in CONCACAF World Cup action for nearly 25 years. Now, nearly 30 years since the Reggae Boys went to the World Cup and 19 years since Trinidad and Tobago joined the globe's showpiece football event, the two meet in the potentially life-changing 90 minutes at the Hadsley Crawford Stadium in the Twin Island Republic. The game begins at 7 p.m. There have been skirmishes here and there, of course, in the 2014 Caribbean Cup, for instance, and the games have, for the most part, been a battle. Reggae Boys head coach Steve McLaren has certainly not been around for all of it, but that doesn't mean he doesn't know the rich history of the rivalry. Recently, these skirmishes have been more common, and that has given McLaren insight into what could be very dangerous opposition. Jamaica lead Group B on CONCACAF World Cup qualifying, but only just. And internationally, President Donald Trump signed a government funding bill Wednesday night, ending a record 43-day shutdown that caused financial stress for federal workers who went without paychecks, stranded scores of travelers at airports, and generated long lines at some food banks. The signing ceremony came just hours after the House passed the measure on a mostly party-line vote of 222 to 209. The Senate had already passed the measure Monday. The shutdown magnified partisan divisions in Washington as Trump took unprecedented unilateral actions, including canceling projects and trying to fire federal workers to pressure Democrats into relenting on their demands. Democrats wanted to extend an enhanced tax credit expiring at the end of the year that lowers the cost of health coverage obtained through Affordable Care Act marketplaces. They refused to go along with a short term spending bill that did not include that priority, but Republicans said that was a separate policy fight to be held at another time. The shutdown created a cascade of troubles for many Americans. Throughout the shutdown, at least 670,000 federal employees were furloughed, while about 730,000 others were working without pay, according to the Bipartisan Policy Center. The plight of the federal workers was among several pressure points, along with flight disruptions and cut to food aid, that in the end ratcheted up the pressure on lawmakers to come to an agreement to fund the government. That's the news for today, November 13, 2025. Good afternoon.